12, and today it's all about the eyes.
Yes, Dr. Annie Negrin is an ophthalmologist with the Greenwich Eye Associates, joining us to talk about how all that screen time might be impacting your children's eyes.
Yes.
Thank you for coming. I mean, they're glued to the screens.
Yeah, and this time more than ever, this time of year, summer's done, they're inside, we've got school, they're on the screens all day, they're on the screens all evening. So there's a lot of things that can come up with this that parents worry about.
And some of the dangers you say, like a warning sign might even be headaches?
Headaches is a big one. We're seeing more and more kids come into the office with headaches, and the parents don't know why. And if you're a mom like me, your first inclination is to go to the worst, right? Is it a brain tumor, God forbid? Or it's almost always not something that bad, and bringing your child into the doctor can really eliminate a lot of those things.
It is hard now, because I have teenagers who are in high school, and for the first time, I mean, homework is, you know, hours and hours, and it's all in front of the computer. They're doing everything.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's hard to avoid.
It's very hard.
Next danger would be sleep disorder.
Sleep disorder, so it's getting harder for our kids to fall asleep. You know, we think of that as an adult's problem. We're stressed, we're overworked, we can't fall asleep, or we wake up early in the morning. Kids are having these issues now, too, because they're on the screens till all hours of the night.
Right. You shouldn't be looking at it right before you fall asleep.
No, absolutely not. It kind of, you know, most people don't realize that there's UV radiation that comes from our screens. That's a big problem in our time right now. And so it's messing with our brain sleep cycles. Basically, this UV radiation is telling the kids' brains it's daytime, it's sunlight, stay awake, even if it's 10 o'clock at night, and they're reading on their computer or on their iPad.
It's good for us if we're reading on those things, too.
I know.
Exactly.
All right, so the next would be blurry vision.
Blurry vision.
That happens to me, too. I mean, I find, you know, after so long, you know, when I go to look at something else, it takes my eyes a moment to adjust.
Yes, exactly. Right? And the kids have that, too. So kids have these muscles in their eyes that focus really well up close. You know, before you were having an issue,
right?
They don't have that issue, right? Their muscles are totally pliable. But they're staring at those screens all day, and those muscles are getting overworked.
Okay.
So they're going to start to feel blurry. That kind of brings us to the next problem, is that they're staring, and it's digital eye strain. We all have it these days. Normal blink rate per minute, we usually blink around 20, maybe 25 times a minute. It goes down to less than 10 times a minute when we're on a screen.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So they really are just staring at it. Yeah.
They're just staring.
All right, so the good thing is you have some solutions now that we're all terrified of them.
I know.
Take your computer away. Go back to the typewriter. Number one, if they're having any of these issues, we need an eye exam just to kind of rule things out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most obvious. Rule it out. Bring your child into an ophthalmologist. You want to rule out the fact that, well, let's see, maybe they need glasses. Maybe they have, you know, a muscle that needs a little bit more strengthening. You rule all of that out, and you're going to feel better.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah,
and then,
you need to make sure they don't need glasses and there isn't something else going on.
And there's some cool ones right here.
So what I was going to say, actually, no, these are for adults for computers, but those happen to be my sons. And what I was going to say is, it's not the end of the world if your child needs glasses anymore. It's not a nerdy thing. In fact, a lot of the girls in my daughter's school, they want glasses.
They do.
They're coming in saying, oh, I think maybe I need glasses. I can't see, and they're faking it. So there's a lot of great trend going on now with glasses.
They're fashionable.
Exactly, they're fashionable.
Unlike when we were kids.
All right, but it was limiting screen time now. So when do we do that? It's by age group.
It's, you know, by age group is kind of how I think about it, because if you have an elementary schooler, you want to think about how much time are they on a screen in their schools. I know in a lot of Connecticut schools, everything's on screens these days, which is great for during the day, but you want to think about cumulative use. So if they're on screens during the day, try to get them off the screens in the afternoon. How do you do that? Well, we buy hard copies of books. I know nobody thinks about that anymore, but no e-readers, no Kindles for kids. If you can, buy the paperback or the hardcover and have them sit and read a regular book. That's a great way to limit screen time.
Good tip.
Okay.
And for the older kids, you know, high schoolers, it's a lot harder, and you need to have a frank discussion with them. If they're, you know, your kid's age, a little bit older, you can talk to them about the dangers of screen time.
All right, so I want to make sure we get to the last couple things. Simple things. Sub out the fluorescent bulbs and put in incandescent lights.
Traditional incandescent, so a lot of people don't realize fluorescent lighting gives off UV radiation. So that's adding to our cumulative exposure. When you walk into a Target or even an office space and you're like, bright white light, That's fluorescent lighting. So if you can avoid that and just switch for incandescent in your kids' space, that'll help a lot.
They have these screens you brought there that I've never heard of this. We can actually filter, put it over the iPad or whatever, and the blue light will be filtered. That will be less damaging?
Exactly. The blue light that's in the UV spectrum that's coming out at us from our iPads, our phones, our screens, they make them for laptops. They make them for phones that can slip over, and all the different phones, all under $20. The most expensive one was the laptop. This was $9.99. I cracked it already, but hey, it was $9.99. It goes right over the iPad screen, and this will help filter out the blue light so your brain is not seeing UV light all night long.
Which can help with the sleeping, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And another thing is try to get the kids not to use these screens within an hour and a half to 2 hours before bedtime. That's the worst. That's when it's really saying, we're awake, it's the middle of the day, let's go party instead of go to sleep.
So much to be mindful of.
I've noticed this now. Now, as much has been explained. Okay, thank you.
Now we're in the know. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Dr. Negrin has all kinds of great health advice on a range of medical topics on our website. Just head to AnnieNegrinMD.com.
Yes, and if you have vision issues and would like to make an appointment with Dr. Negrin, you can contact her office. It's Greenwich Eye Associates. The number 203-978-1050. That's 203-978-1050.